I have here in my hand my iPad, and on my iPad I have the number of people who listen to our podcast's episode since we released it. Can you guess how many people listen to our podcast since we released it on May 17th?
I'm gonna guess 40. Is that ambitious?
We have 23 total plays in Anchor, which collects Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and stuff like that. And we have 18 views on the YouTube episode for a grand total of 41.
Hey, I was really close. And if you discount my view on the video, then it's probably 40.
Because you assume I only watched it one time, you're cute. Like I watched it like 50 times because I needed to make sure like everything worked properly because I was scared.
So really, we probably got like...
We probably got like 10 views and 5 of those came from my girlfriend and like my friends and stuff. So you know, we're getting there. In my dreams, we were gonna guess like 10 and I was gonna be like, no, it's actually like 4 times that.
No, I knew there were like 18 views on the video, so I just assumed there was gonna be a similar-ish but more amount on the Anchor. Yeah.
Okay, straight talk right now. 5 minutes of straight talk right now. The reception to the first episode on my end has been phenomenal. Like, okay, because you have to understand, in my group of friends, there's also the language barrier because I'm in Italy and most of my friends, they don't like listening to podcasts and they very much not like listening to podcasts in another language. So the fact that several people among my friends and also people are barely new messaging me saying, oh yeah, the podcast is good, I listened to it, it's fine. It really blew my mind. So I don't know if on your end it was similar to that, but on my end, I'm ecstatic.
Mate, welcome to the world of being a content creator.
How has it been on your end? Did you get feedback on your end as well?
If I'm going to be honest, I didn't really ask. I know some of my friends have definitely listened to it, but I haven't asked for feedback. I just don't really ask for feedback on my YouTube videos or anything anymore. I'm just like putting it out.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't even need to ask for feedback. The feedback got to me. That's how good it was, you know?
But I will say I didn't really share it as much, if I'm going to be honest. I feel kind of weird sharing things on my like social media.
I shared it on my Instagram stories because I'm used to sharing stuff on my Instagram stories because most of my online presence is on Instagram. So I shared it there and I I sent a couple of friends your announcement video. Most of the friends were like, oh, why does she eat that and stuff? And since we posted our episode, you have published not one, but several vlogs since we last spoke. You've been productive.
I really haven't.
You published 3. One was about your announcement for the podcast. Mm-hmm. One was a longer video about solo traveling. And the third one was about how you started uni again a couple of weeks ago, I want to say. If you had to choose like a favorite child, which one of these would you say it's your favorite?
Oh, that's so hard because, to be honest, I don't know if I care for them that much, but I feel like I always feel this almost with all my videos. I'm always like, oh no, this one's not a good one. And then I watch it back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's all right. I definitely wasn't really vibing with the solo traveling one, but then I watched it back and I was like, that was all right. So actually, maybe my podcast announcement one. I know that's like the least viewed and liked video. I expected that. It is a very short video with not really much of a vlog sort of style thing. It is just for a podcast announcement, so that's understandable, but I don't know. I liked that.
You said 2 things that surprised me. Okay, so first thing was you said that you liked the video more once you rewatch it after doing it. Well, I feel like for a lot of people it's the opposite. Like for a lot of people, they work on something and they really like it and then they put it up and they dislike it more when they watch it because they keep considering what they could have done differently. If it were me, like you notice a typo, for example, in the writing or something like that, and you wish you could redo it, but it's up, so you can't redo it anymore. So I think most people like the video more when it's in the editing stage, while you seem to imply that you are not really happy while you do it, but once it's out, it's better. You like it more. Is it like that?
It depends with certain videos. I have had ones that I thought were better and then I watch them back and I'm like, oh no, that's not as good as I thought. But you know, for example, even my week in my life, I don't think I was really super happy with. I mean, I spent a lot of time on it, and I kind of knew it was going to get views because it's a week in my life, like that's standard. But I was like, nah. And I'm still kind of not happy with it sometimes when I watch it back. But for example, yeah, the solo traveling one, again, I watched back and I was like, I kind of liked that. And then also another one that I remember, well, watching back like yesterday because my friend mentioned it. I watched the Lake District road trip, which maybe my perceptions of it changed because it's actually one of my like not as viewed Manchester videos. I think it's one of the worst performing exchange videos, but I actually really enjoy that one. Often I think the editing process also just kills my soul sometimes a little bit. It starts off good, I'm like excited, it's like creative, it's fun, and then like another 5 hours in, I can't anymore.
Yeah, it's not fun anymore, is it? I really like your Lake District video a lot. Like that and your Sappy video where you put all the bee footage from your travels. Those are my favorite ones.
Because you were in that one?
I deserved a bigger part in that video.
So this is what I realized with that video. So I actually had so much footage, but what I realized is the video didn't look good if I didn't have audio in it. So I had very few clips that had usable audio. And so that's why you aren't in it as much, because I could barely make it. So I'm checking it now. It was 2 minutes and 50 seconds. I barely made it to that mark. Like, that was all the footage I could ever use. I'm not even joking. I tried putting some of the clips in and I watched it and I was like, nah, no effect. And then I realized that the ones with speaking and like just random noise, I don't know, it just has a different quality to it. You know, we like some diegetic sound.
Yeah, it's true that it hits different. By the way, I like it a lot. And for people who don't realize, I'm joking when I said I should have been in the video more. I think I'm in the video more than enough, honestly. That trip to Venice was like cursed from the beginning because we got there and it was like we saw people putting down water protections and we were like, oh, I wonder if it's gonna rain. And oh boy, we did see a lot of water that day.
But to be fair, like, what an experience.
In the video, I think you can see it, we have to put like garbage bags around our feet and legs to go through, and then the garbage bags started leaking, and it was all sorts of fun, actually.
Yeah, so basically what happened was we were too cheap to buy the water shoes that you see everyone wearing in like all the news articles when the huge like aqua altas were happening or whatever. And so we were just like, oh, okay, what's cheap and waterproof? Garbage bags. So we're like, oh, this is such a good idea. It says they're leak proof.
A waterproof protection for pennies. Problem is that it wasn't very waterproof.
So it was kind of useless.
I remember we specifically said when we got out of the supermarket, we were like, oh yeah, like that guy wanted us to buy the waterproof shoes for like 10 euros each, and we got away with €1 for all of us. It's such a good save. Like, I'm gonna put in the show notes a few videos of what Aqualta really looks like, because it's very fast. Like it floods a street in like a minute.
Honestly, that probably made my Venice experience though. Like, I want to experience Aqualta.
The seagulls were very happy about it, I think, but
yeah, the seagulls were at knee level, just to give anyone who wasn't there perspective. Like, people walking at the same height as like seagulls in the water.
I got some complaints about the podcast, you know? A friend of mine complained because, according to her, I wasn't in the podcast enough. And then I realized that it's because when I was in the editing, I basically cut 50% of my lines because they were like stupid jokes or stuff that didn't need to be there. And I was like, oh, that doesn't need to be there. And so basically, it came across like you were basically hogging the spotlight. While in reality, you don't have anything to do with it. It's my fault.
I will also say you are like the driving force behind this podcast. I do zero preparation for it. And so you do ask a lot of the questions. So I do spend a lot of time just responding.
I like asking the questions. I'm like, I don't know, Socrates bringing the knowledge out from its students or something like that. I don't know.
And speaking of which, you said you had some questions to ask. What are they?
Okay, so if people wondered why this episode comes probably a couple of months after the first one, is because for me it is exam session, because in Italy where I live, exam session is usually June to end of July, And you, on the other hand, you're upside down. And so you have just begun your semester.
My uni's weird. We have 3 trimesters, so I'm actually right in the middle of one of these terms, basically.
I wanted to ask, of course, having academic duties affects the amount of free time you have because you need to allocate a lot of time to lectures and not falling behind and stuff like that. How does that affect your creative process? Because, for example, you have less time to edit videos. How do you manage that? Or you don't manage it and you just say, okay, the channel is going to be a cold slab for 3 months until I finish my trimester and then I'm going to do another burst of videos. Like, how does that work for you?
Well, it hasn't been going well because if you can tell, I haven't posted a video for over 2 weeks now. And the reason why I was able to post in Manchester was A, because my grades were just pass fail and they didn't go towards my, average mark. B, because in Manchester, they only have 1 or 2 assessments for each course. And they're usually at 2 times, like mid-semester and final exams. So most of the time, I honestly didn't do almost any readings for my courses, if I'm going to be honest. Like, I went to classes and I watched the lectures, but I didn't do the readings. So I really saved time by doing that. Plus, I committed time to it. So honestly, I think I'm going to try and get in a better habit of it and set a certain day. Because I remember in Manchester, Tuesday, I'd finish my classes at 11, I would come back to my hall and I would just sit there and the rest of the day was editing. And that would go up until, sometimes 3 a.m. I'd be walking out and having a shower and just posting my vlog. And people always say this, but like tasks expand to the time that you allow them. And for me, I haven't been working as in like a paid job or anything. Like my only thing that I have to do is uni pretty much, and uni has just been taking up all my time because I let it take up all my time, and the only thing I do other than uni is procrastinate uni. And I haven't really been doing YouTube, and in fact today I actually sat down and said, okay, well, I've got to start editing a video. But I do have I have a video concept that I really want to work on, but I know it's going to be so hard. And I wish it could just happen, I wish I didn't have to, labor over it and...
Yeah, you wish you could just turn your computer on in the evening and like in the morning you wake up and everything is done and you can just post the video, the computer is done all by itself.
Yeah, exactly. I like just the mental concept. I can just make it in my mind and then transfer it onto my computer. That would be amazing.
Sounds like you just need an editor. That's how editors work. They are a black box that takes as input raw video files and outputs a perfectly edited vlog. That's how they work, right?
I'm dreading filming this as well because this is going to be a very in public space vlog. And in Manchester, it was fine. I could justify vlogging. I was like, oh, I'm documenting my exchange experience, and like if anyone found that weird, I'm like, well, I'm just filming it for my friends, at home or something like that. But in Sydney, well, I vlogged with my friends, and that's kind of awkward, but it always is, it's not very natural to have a camera around. But, I haven't actually vlogged in public much at all. And I feel like, I don't know, I just don't have enough confidence for it as much because I did try a bit and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so awkward. It went back to when I first started vlogging. And I remember when I first started vlogging, someone was walking down the street on the opposite side. It was really quiet, but one person was walking down the street and I turned off the video camera, and then after they passed, then I turned it back on and I continued talking and I was whispering the entire time. I
need to learn how to interrupt you mid-sentence because sometimes there's something that's really, really interesting and I want to talk about that, but I kind of feel bad interrupting, so I'll just let it slide and
No, just interrupt me whenever. I interrupt you all the time.
Okay, I need to become better at this because in a real conversation you'd see my eyes bulging and my body language, but we record with cameras off, so we don't see each other. It's like a phone call, so it's different. So I need to be better at that. So one observation you said that is super interesting, and it's such a neat way to put it, is that tasks expanded to fill the time slot you allow for them.
I stole it from someone else who referenced it from someone else. So it's definitely in a book. I think it's like Parkinson's law or something. I don't know. I heard that from Ruby Granger. I definitely did not come up with that.
Yeah, that is such a cool thing because it is really true. And that is why I think most, well, not most people, some people, I talk about university because, most of my friends are going through uni. So like it's kind of the most abundant data set we have. Some of my friends like to plan time slots for everything. And I think that they do that to avoid this thing of kind of, sit down at the desk to do something and then taking the whole day while it should only take 5 minutes. Like for example, when you said you sat down at your desk on Tuesdays to edit your vlog and you didn't get up off the chair until you finished the vlog, that's like a very dangerous. I would never do that because I would be so afraid of like it taking like 48 hours straight.
But the thing is, when I did do that, I basically said, well, okay, so I went into like 3 a.m., but like I basically said I had to get it done on a Tuesday, Like I had to get it done. And it's why I actually did.
But why did you have to take it to get it done? Like, didn't you have the weekend to record? Like, when did you release videos? Didn't you release them on the weekend?
No, I released them on like Tuesdays. Because I had Tuesday where I had some class, and so then I could use the rest of the day. Whereas weekend, I wanted to use that for, I don't know, doing something else, like going to a national park or something,
And you could edit like a whole video in one afternoon and sometimes one night?
I could back then. Nowadays, I'm struggling. Like, it takes me so much more time, and like, I don't know what it is, but like, I somehow am really struggling to edit videos these days. Like, it just takes me like triple the amount of time it used to. Like, yes, I'm doing like slightly more, like maybe there's like one or two things in a video that might take a bit more time than it used to, but like even the video that I just started editing today, like there's nothing fancy about it. Oh, you know what it is actually? I'm using DaVinci and the playback is just non-existent, so I have no idea what it looks like. So I have to render it and then watch it back and then edit it.
Wait,
and then render
what?
it.
No, what? No, you can totally watch. Like, you can totally.
No, my computer must not have enough I don't know, processing power or something. It's because I'm also, like, I'm rounding off the edges, I'm adding text on, and it can't cope with anything that's not straight video. Like, I've got color grading on.
But that kind of kills your workflow, does it? If you have to render it every time you want to rewatch it.
Yeah,
like, doesn't
or
it kind
I
of...
have to drag my bar across and kind of just imagine what it would look like.
To be fair, I haven't edited any long project on DaVinci yet. So maybe when I start doing long project, it will be the same and I will have to render it every time as well. But no, I don't know if I like that, honestly.
No, it's horrible. Yeah, I need to go back to iMovie, honestly. Except there are some things that look cute on DaVinci. Ugh, what a struggle.
For people who don't know, DaVinci Resolve is a video editing software and it's completely free. There is also a paid version, but the only thing that adds is like super advanced stuff you're never going to need if you're going to do a vlog. And the problem is it's kind of heavy, and if you have a laptop like...
Okay, I'm gonna just interrupt us. I think that this is not gonna be interesting for people. I think we're gonna have to backtrack and think about what we're talking about.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna save a clip of that and just drop it every time we start going off track, just to keep us back. Okay, I wanted to say that about the fact that you felt super weird with the camera. I have to say that it's something I struggle with a lot as well. I don't vlog. I would like to start, but that's, I'm too embarrassed to do it. But for example, I like photography, and even just the act of walking with a camera, like a normal camera, just the act of walking around that makes me super embarrassed. Like every time there's a person, I'm like, no. So and I can't. It kind of got better. Like I think for you as well. Like after a while that you do it, it gets better because either it gets better or you stop doing it because you're so embarrassed.
True.
So I think it gets better over time.
It definitely does. Just, I remember the first week I landed in London, I started vlogging, and that was just very awkward. But I remember uploading my first vlog, that's up on my channel now, and my friends were like, wow, you're so natural. And I'm like, it's because you didn't see what I looked like last week, I was whispering and, turning my camera off when people came around. So, I think I was reasonably natural.
The thing is, what you don't capture on camera is all the times, for example, you start talking and then some other person like appears at on the street and you're like, nope, not gonna do it now. So, but yeah, so your new project, do you think that this thing of having to film in public a lot it's gonna be a thing that it's gonna be awkward for a while, or do you think it will like actively delay the video because you will have to take more time filming it because of this thing? Like, do you think it's an actual obstacle or just something you are embarrassed about, but it will pass and nothing will matter?
I think it'll pass, but I think it is just like something in the back of my head that I'm like, oh, when I think of that video idea that I do have, which I'm not going to reveal just in case this podcast gets edited before.
I know that talking of a video before it goes out is super detrimental, and I would never do it. So I want to ask.
Now I'll tell you later, but
I had one last thing I wanted to ask you, and okay, so it's kind of a sensitive matter. So if it's not good, I just cut everything. But like,
no, I love that you're starting off with it might be a sensitive matter. I'm interested now.
now I've put the bar so high. Like when I actually ask the question, it's gonna be like, really? Okay. My question is the comments on your videos. Like, what is your relationship with the people that comment your videos? Like, for example, are they always the same ones commenting over and over again, or are they people you see in one video then don't see anymore? And the reason the reason it might be a sensitive matter because sometimes like I see comments that are like kind of weird and strange.
Air them. Tell us which ones are weird and strange.
I don't want to I don't want to call them out. But
No, this is good. This is making the podcast 10 times more interesting.
like, I don't remember now, but it was like something like, "Hey, will you be my friend?" or something like that, or something similar.
Oh yeah.
I was wondering, how do you feel about those kinds of like? Is it something you just look at and oh yeah, it's it's the internet. Some weird comments are gonna happen eventually, or is it?
Well, first of all, to answer your first question, these days, because I've moved past my university vlogs, I pretty much only get comments from my friends. So if you see them comment repeatedly, they're probably my friends who know me in real life. But I still get comments like somewhat regularly, not as regularly as I used to, obviously, but still on my university vlogs. And like on the most part, I actually... If you check my comments, I pretty much try and reply to every single one that I feel capable of replying to. I mean, it's really nice to like sometimes just check a comment. You're like, oh look, someone said something and I can interact with them. Like human connection. I'm not against it. But I will say I remember there was like I don't want to call anyone out because I'm sure that a lot of people have good intentions. Like on the whole, like I really haven't had that many strange comments, but I have had a couple. And I remember actually, no, I've definitely deleted one that I felt uncomfortable with or hid one or whatever. I was just like, oh, I don't like this. Like not because it just made me feel uncomfortable having it there. And so I didn't want to have it there. Like it wasn't about how people would perceive me or, how people would perceive whoever commented. It was just, I don't like looking at it. And so I just didn't want to look at it. I mean, I've had a couple of strange comments that sometimes I just don't respond to them. Like, usually if someone's like, oh, haha, I think you're cute, or whatever, and I know because I am, like, a person amongst my friends who's described as cute, just because I look like 5. As in, I look really young. I don't look 5, obviously. That's an exaggeration. But, I mean, this is a bit more judgmental, but like if it's like in the profile picture, the name seems more feminine, I'm like, oh yeah, all good. But when they don't have a profile picture and like they don't have a like very distinctive name, then I'm like, I don't know. And so A, I will just not respond to those ones. Or B, I might just type something pretty neutral. I don't know. I usually just don't respond to them, to be honest. And they don't get to me at all because I mean I don't know these people, like I'm probably never going to see them. What I will say is I do not like when people also I've had I'm calling people out, but whatever, I've had someone comment like, when's your new video coming up, we're waiting, and I'm like
that's weird for different reasons. Yeah, no, that's no. Oh no, if I got one of those, I would freak out probably.
Yeah, see, like, it's different because I've had questions where it's like, oh, are you uploading another video? And I'll be like, that's fine. Like, I've been like, oh, yeah, I'm working on it. I know there's a bit of delay. But when it's like, oh, where's your new video? we're waiting. Like, I'm sorry, I don't owe you anything. Like, I really don't. I'm just trying to live my life. I'm not earning anything from this. I'm literally just putting my time into this. That irks me more than anything, to be honest.
To be fair, I'm sure no person in your comment section is typing something with the intent of being like mean or rude or something like that. But sometimes like it comes across as that. So that's why I wanted to ask.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I mean it's just text. Like you don't know where they're coming from. And so yeah, again, I just don't respond to those. Like that comment that I said, I just never responded. I left it up, but I just never responded.
When you have, I don't know, a couple 100,000 subscribers, like you're not gonna read all the comments, and even if you're gonna try,
Yeah.
you're just gonna read the top ones that are getting liked a lot, and so you kind of avoid the least popular comments. But when you have like a video that has, I don't know, 5 comments on it or 2 comments on it, something that you have to see them, like they're literally there, they fit in one page. I think you did a fine job replying, by the way. I wanted to talk about something because I'm actually I'm actually pretty excited and I want to get your validation. I use my Instagram a lot because since I like photography, I post my photos there and stuff like that. So I post on Instagram much more than I post on any other. So actually, I don't think I have any other social media. So I just use Instagram basically. And in the last month, something very cool started happening. That is like strangers started replying to my stories and my posts, like which is very nice. And honestly, as you said before, like it's so nice to have an interaction with a stranger from the internet, especially when they're so nice. And it's happened like 3 or 4 times in a couple of weeks that people would write to me and I would reply and we started chatting about stuff. And it's definitely never happened to me before. And so I don't know, I kind of feel good about it. So I wanted to share it. And also as a reminder to people, even if you have just a very small presence on the platform you choose, be it YouTube or be it Instagram or stuff like that, you don't have to have a huge reach to start feeling like people are seeing and liking the things you do. Because for example, like I don't have basically any followers and still like I got these cute interactions with strangers and we started talking about their photography and my photography and stuff like that, and it's honestly super fun.
Wait, so what changed in those last weeks? Did you start hashtagging something? Was it just the photos? Like what happened?
I don't really use hashtags. When I post a photo, I will use the hashtags related. Like I don't know, if the film is film X, I will put hashtag the name of the film and the name of the developer because I develop and scan myself. So I will put like those things that are like kind of identifiers. And I don't like doing hashtags, but I feel like they're okay because if a person wants to look at other photos that have the same kind of look, they can just click, for example, on the hashtag for the film and see a lot of other photos. So I feel like they're more tags than they are hashtags to get traction for my photo. But that said, I do know that those get traction because people browse the hashtag. So I do know that the reason why strangers can see my photos is because they have a minimum amount of hashtags. But at the same time, I'm not one of those people who publishes a huge list of hashtags in the description just to get the broadest possible reach. I try to keep it cool. And I think most of my interactions actually came from stories, like because sometimes actually film companies are very good at this. Like if you tag them in their stories, they usually not retweet. What is the word I'm looking for?
Repost.
Thank you. If you add them, they usually repost the story on their feed. And so sometimes people find me through there. And I don't know, I feel really, I feel really, even though like there might be a lesson somewhere because like my follower number hasn't changed basically. But I feel like I'm a lot more accomplished as an Instagram. I don't want to say Instagram.
Can I just say, I want to add into this conversation that when I met you, you were very excited about the fact that I had 2 cameras with me. I had my vlog camera and I had my other camera that I was just taking like touristy shots with.
That quickly sidetracked after I discovered that you had no interest in using your camera in manual mode.
And I mentioned that. I was like, mate. But can I just say, this is where I want to interject here. But when I met you, you were very excited about it. You were talking all about, ISO, shutter speed, aperture, all of the things that you need to do for taking a picture. And I remember looking at your Instagram feed back then. I don't think you actually used to take that many photographs and upload them.
I actually didn't have my current camera yet. I had just a a camera I got on loan from a friend. So it was like very early day.
But that, like, can we just clarify that very early days, that was in December. It's only been half a year now. And I will say that your photography has improved a lot. Like, noticeably, I can tell.
Well, thank you. Like I feel that as well. Like someone said that if you look back to your work and you don't like it, that means you're improving. And I very much don't like my early work, so that must mean I'm improving a lot, right? I think part of that is surely due to the camera because for people who are illiterate about cameras, that's gonna be a bit weird of a discussion. But basically, before I had a fully automatic camera, meaning that you just press the button and it does everything. And then around January, I got my hands on my parents' camera, and that is fully manual, meaning you have to choose all the settings and everything. And I think that if you want to learn photography, that is the way to go. Because if you have something that does everything for you, like it's true that you can focus on something else, but in the beginning you need to know what you're doing. And so I think that was the real kicker. Like when I started having to think about how to take each photo, I got better a lot in a short amount of time.
Yeah, I just want to do a shout out for you. I don't know, obviously, most of the people listening might know you already, but your Instagram handle is Psychotic Lime. And I love your recent photos. I mean, you should know because I commented on it. I was like, wow, this is so good. But yeah, if you want to keep up with Giacomo, and am I saying your name right there?
The way my mother would pronounce it, it's Giacomo.
Giacomo? Okay, it's Giacomo.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good.
Okay, fine. Okay, I see. It's not. I now have forgotten what I'm saying. But yes, check out his photographs because honestly, they're just getting better every time, and I'm very impressed.
Thank you. I am very embarrassed right now. Is this how you felt last episode while I plugged your YouTube? Is that how you
Probably,
how you felt?
Yeah. But yeah, okay, also, a final question from my end.
Yes.
What is the meaning behind Psychotic Lime? Why Psychotic Lime? What does it mean?
Oh, okay. So you want to know the real story?
Did you get a randomly generated name?
My memory is very bad. So obviously something must have happened for me to get to that name, but I don't remember. But basically, the way I remember it is that I was trying to create a nickname for some kind of account you needed a nickname for, and I couldn't, like my default one was already taken. The way I remember it is the service just going, oh, you want to try one of these nicknames instead? And there was Psychotic Line 502 in there. And I was like,
oh my God,
what? That's amazing. And I think I was like 15 at the time or something like that. And I have been using that for everything ever since. And honestly...
So it was just a randomly generated name that you've just now taken upon yourself.
I don't know if maybe I had another name that was similar to that and that's why it got recommended. Honestly, I don't remember what name I used before. So it's lost to the sense of time, but nobody thinks of it. So it's always free in any service you...
No, it has actually a nice ring to it, Psychotic Lime. If you're a linguistics person, tell us why that sounds good.
I don't think there's any... I think it just rolls off the tongue really good. Also, since we're on the subject of names, can I just say the name for this podcast, you didn't, even though you chose it, you didn't like it. But honestly, the more I just loved the name of this podcast. Like, I think it's...
Hey, I liked the name.
But you were like, oh, but I'm afraid people won't find it relevant to the content and stuff like that.
No, I had more of an issue of the names you suggested. I was just wanting to have a name that was at least memorable.
But maybe in the future we'll have to put a trademark sign after Vegemite because it's a trademark name.
Oh,
so
true.
Vegemite TM on pizza.
Oh, you're right.
But,
oh, no. We're going to have to pay royalties to Vegemite as Kraft.
No. We'll have to pay the royalties for the money we don't make out of the podcast.
Oh, imagine.
A cut of 0 is still 0, right? So we're still fine until we start making money, which I believe it's not going to happen anytime soon. So,
anyways, I think we've been talking for a really long time and we should wrap this up. I don't really have any final comments to say other than...
I actually have something to say.
Okay.
So I kind of want to make it a tradition that we always ended the podcast with a wholesome kind of note. Mm-hmm. Last time you did the quote from Anne of Green Gables, which was really cool. And I think, I don't know, I'm a wholesome person. I like wholesome things. So I think it would be good if we made it a habit of always finding something wholesomey and a bit sappy and stuff
Okay,
like
but I
that to
don't
put
have
at the
any
end.
ideas.
Yeah, I don't either. That's a problem. I'm gonna try it. I have kind of something, but it's super weird.
Okay,
So I
go
don't
for
know.
it.
I have a word I really like, which is petrichor, which is such a fun word. Do you know what it
Is
means?
that in English or Italian?
English, and it literally means the smell of earth after a rainstorm, after it hasn't rained for a long time.
Mm.
And that is such a cool, like, okay, so I love the sound because it sounds amazing. And I love the feeling because if you have never tried, you should try this when it's like summer and you feel like a thunderstorm coming. Just open the window and stay there for a while. It's one of my favorite things.
Okay, I don't want to spoil your beautiful image, which it is a beautiful one, but I'm pretty sure I learned in chemistry that that smell is ozone.
No, come on. It's the smell of the earth. It's the smell of the earth
Okay.
after all. No reality in this part of the podcast. This is a wholesome part of the podcast. No reality is allowed.
Okay, sorry. That was a lovely image to end us on. And I guess that brings us to the end of this podcast.
Oh no, oh no, oh no. Okay, my setup is super precarious. I have to be very careful not to poke it because otherwise it all comes crumbling down. So I have to be very careful.
Okay, this is a message to future you. Edit that part out.